A quiet walk quickly turned into a frightening encounter when a robber on a motorbike suddenly rushed toward a couple on the street. The suspect pointed a gun and demanded money, catching them off guard. In that critical moment, the man did not hesitate. He stepped forward to protect the woman beside him, placing himself between her and the threat. What began as fear transformed instantly into courage, as the man's decisive reaction disrupted the robbery and prevented the situation from escalating further. In the dead of night, a man was suddenly ambushed by two robbers and held at their mercy. The situation appeared grim, with the attackers firmly in control. But the moment didn't last. Against the odds, the man broke free. In a split second, he drew his firearm in self-defense, turning the balance of power on its head. Caught off guard and realizing their plan had collapsed, the criminals panicked and fled into the darkness. Motorbike robber meets instant karma. A robber on a motorbike sped toward a parked car, pulled out a gun, and threatened a young couple, confident the fear would do the work for him. But he misjudged them. The woman stayed calm, no screams, no panic. She quietly stepped aside, trusting the man beside her to act, and within seconds, everything flipped. The would-be thief was slammed to the ground, completely overpowered, his bravado gone, reduced to begging for forgiveness for a crime that unraveled in an instant. What was meant to be a quick score ended as a hard lesson. As he opened the door to his home, the man remained alert, carefully watching his surroundings. That awareness proved crucial. Moments later, robbers suddenly rushed toward him, attempting to catch him off guard. Without hesitation, he reacted quickly and decisively, defending himself and taking control of the situation before it could escalate. His swift response stopped the incident in its tracks, a clear reminder that awareness and fast judgment can make all the difference. An off-duty police officer showed unwavering commitment by taking immediate action to stop a fleeing criminal. The incident began after a suspect stole from two women and attempted to escape. Without hesitation, the officer pursued the robber, extending his duty beyond his shift. Thanks to swift judgment and determined action, the chase ended with the suspect captured. What began as an ordinary day at a small fashion boutique turned into a moment of terror in seconds. Two armed robbers burst through the door. One of them stepped forward, raised his gun, and demanded money, leaving the young shop owner frozen in fear, unable to move or respond. Then everything changed. Her husband suddenly rushed down from the upper floor. Seeing the immediate danger his wife was in, he acted without hesitation, opening fire to protect her and stop the attack. A couple had just arrived home, the gate still sliding shut behind them, when danger struck. Three armed robbers suddenly rushed in, targeting the couple's motorcycle and attempting to take control of the situation before anyone could react. But help was already on the way. A plainclothes police officer nearby noticed what was happening and moved in immediately. As panic set in, one of the robbers managed to flee. The other two weren't as lucky. Within seconds, the officer intervened, subdued both suspects, and placed them under arrest, ending the robbery before it could go any further. The couple was quietly enjoying coffee at a sidewalk cafe when the calm shattered in an instant. A man suddenly approached and pointed a gun at them, demanding compliance. But instead of freezing, the husband reacted immediately, lunging forward and grappling for control of the weapon. At the same time, his wife stayed remarkably composed. She stepped back just far enough to create space and smoothly drew her own firearm, ready to protect her husband. The coordinated response overwhelmed the attacker. Stunned and realizing he had lost control of the situation, the would-be robber panicked and fled. Young man outsmarts armed robbers. Two men on a motorbike followed a young man before suddenly cutting him off, forcing him to the side of the road. One attacker pulled out a gun, threatening him in an attempt to steal his motorcycle. But the young man didn't panic. He stayed calm, watched carefully, and waited for the right opening. In a split second, he moved, overpowering the armed robber and turning the situation around. What began as a violent ambush ended with the attackers losing control, undone by patience, timing, and quick thinking. A dramatic car theft attempt unraveled in seconds when two men targeted a vehicle parked along the curb. As the suspects moved in, the car's owner reacted immediately. Acting in self-defense, he drew his firearm and confronted the threat. The response was decisive. Startled and overwhelmed, the would-be thieves panicked and fled the scene, abandoning the crime before it could go any further. What was meant to be a quick theft collapsed instantly, stopped by alertness and a split-second decision. At first, the man appeared to be just another customer, calm, relaxed, casually browsing the shop. Then, without warning, he pulled out a gun and demanded money. Fearing for his life, the shop owner complied, handing over cash as the robber moved deeper into the store, searching the shelves for valuables. But the compliance was calculated. The owner stayed alert, carefully watching the robber's movements and waiting for the right moment. When the opportunity finally came, he reacted, firing in self-defense and stopping the robbery before it could continue. Two thieves tried to steal car side mirrors, but were quickly noticed by alert locals. Before they could make their escape, the suspects were caught in the act, restrained on the spot, and held until police arrived. Officers took the pair into custody, bringing the attempted theft to a swift and decisive end.